live in eastern Oklahoma, this is one of the places you can come to learn all about roses, and that's the Tulsa Rose Garden. And to visit with me about that today is Rodney Bennett, and he's the Rose Garden foreman. Now, Rodney, this is a fantastic place. It's huge, and we want to give people an idea of just what it takes to take care of it. But first, I was wondering, how old is this garden?
This garden is 61 years old. It was inaugurated in 1934, and our first rose was planted in 1935.
So it's been here quite a while.
Quite a while.
Now, the roses themselves aren't that old, though.
No, no. Now, we do have some varieties that are still in the garden that have been here from when the garden was built, and we still have that variety here.
Do you have to propagate those or repropagate them?
Yes, we do have
time?
that one variety that is still in the garden. We have to propagate it because it is not commercially available.
Okay, I see. Now, this garden is a little different design than what we might have seen at Will Rogers Park. This is Italian Renaissance, and what aspects of it make it Italian Renaissance style?
Well, what makes it Italian Renaissance style is the terraces starting from Peoria, gradually sloping up to the end of the garden to the east of us here. Okay. And we have these Canardi junipers, which are hand trimmed, and with all of our formal beds and our pathways and our reflection pools, all kind of makes the Italian garden Renaissance itself.
Yeah, it has a very formal feel to it.
Yes.
It does. If people want to come visit the Tulsa Rose Garden, when are the best times to see the roses in bloom?
Well, our peak bloom in the spring is in May, okay, and in the fall it is October. So
that you've got plenty of time at either end of the year to come see them and enjoy
yes.
them. And even though it's a real windy day, I can smell the fragrance. It's
oh,
just
yeah.
wonderful.
It's really nice to be out here. It's nice to be able to work out here and take care of this.
Well, speaking of that work, it's a big job to take care of. It's what, 4.5 acres?
Yes.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
How many people does it take to maintain all of these roses?
Well, we have 4 employees, including myself, that take care of the garden, mm-hmm, and we have to take care of the mowing, the care of the roses, and even the Canardis, just everything. We do it all.
Okay, so you have to get up there. Now, on a windy day like this, you wouldn't be up on a ladder trimming those.
No.
But I know there have been pictures in the newspaper from time to time of people up on ladders trimming the Canardi juniper, so I know it's a big chore.
Yes, it is.
Let's talk a little bit about the maintenance of the roses. What do you have to do to keep them in such full bloom twice a year?
Well, we'll have to after our hard killing freezes, we'll have to come in and lower the heights on our roses, and then in early spring we'll have to come in and correctively prune all the roses, okay, and preparing them for our spring bloom. Then in fall, before our fall bloom, we'll have to lower the heights in August, mm-hmm, so we will have our fall bloom.
Okay, that brings back a good flush of growth.
Yes, right,
a lot of people only think of pruning roses in mid-March, but really it's 3 times a year here to prevent wind rocker in the fall, and then to do the corrective pruning, and then to give you a good fall flush
yes,
in the season. Do you have to go through and deadhead all of these?
Yes, we are constantly deadheading, and it's just to continue to get our blooms coming on out, we've got to constantly deadhead, and it's quite a chore with the amount of roses we have.
Oh, I can see that. Well, one last question before
okay,
we leave you and go visit with Jay is, how do you decide what varieties go in this garden? Well,
there's approximately 3 of us will sit down and we'll kind of go over what varieties we really think are popular, mm-hmm, and even the public will request certain varieties, and if we have enough people asking for it, we'll bring that variety in.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, speaking of varieties, and there are so many types that you can see here, we have one more test garden to show you in Tulsa, and it's the only All-America Rose Selection test garden in Oklahoma. It's only one of 24 in the whole country, and it's just a few steps away to the east. An unseen but vital part of Tulsa Woodward Park's Rose Garden is the All-America Rose Selections Test Garden. And here to visit with me is Assistant Horticulturist Jay Ross.
How you doing, Sue?
Good to see you. Jay is also the official judge of the AARS Rose Garden. And Jay, what are you looking for out here? These look quite different than the roses down just a few steps away in the rose beds.
Well, Sue, as you mentioned, these are test roses that are set out here in a test situation. We're judging them, the AARS or All-American Rose Selections, sets up a criteria, 15 different criteria that we are out here judging. Everything from bud shape and form, flower shape and form, novelty, fragrance, aging quality,
Okay,
foliage, go
now
on
that
from
aging
there.
quality, a lot of things, bud form and so forth, people understand, but what do we mean by aging quality?
Primarily from once it's bloomed out to how it finishes out. I mean, you
Okay.
can see here one that starts getting some spotting and stuff that's kind of detracting to the overall appearance of the bloom.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is what I always classify as self-cleaning. If that bloom is able to shake itself instead of holding on and staying in a real dirty
Okay.
appearance
Yeah,
on
I
the
noticed
bush.
there's some examples here of ones
Mm-hmm.
that tend to hold on very well. And are these taken care of like you do the rest of the roses in the park, or is it different?
No, Sue, what we try to do here is imitate really a homeowner type situation, because that's who this test is being done for, is for marketing these to the public. And so, say a good example, in the main garden we spray or control pests and disease at such a rate, we may do it half as often in here, because that's what we feel is maybe more pertinent to how often a homeowner would do it.
Okay, I see. Well, now if a homeowner comes here to the Woodward Park in Tulsa and visits the AARS Rose Garden and they see a numbered selection like this is 95R414, that doesn't mean anything to them,
No.
but what does it mean to you?
Okay. Basically a breakdown of that shows that 95 means it was an introduction to the test gardens in 95. These are
Okay.
all this year's introductions.
All right.
The 414 is a coding that indicates these are floribundas. It's broken up to hundreds, 200s, 300s, 400s, 500s, which are miniatures, teas, floribundas, grandiflores, and so on.
So you've got all the different types here.
We have had individuals, we've had individuals that do come out and they see them, and then a number of years later they go, whatever happened to 92 R212? And you're just like, if it wasn't a winner, it's hard to give them an answer. But I was telling you earlier, we had a meeting this past summer in Minneapolis where we went and we talked about that very situation, and all the growers, because some of them, even when they aren't winners, the growers may release them on their own
Sure.
and give them a name. And so we asked, could you give us the names of those varieties that weren't winners? And
Okay.
we've done that.
That way
so.
you know. Well, now if I see a rose out here that I really like, because this one's two-tone, it's really pretty, and let's say that it did win and it was promoted as a AARS selection, when would I expect to see this on the market? This is 1995, we're going into 96.
Okay.
If this won, when would I see it for sale?
You wouldn't see it in the open market until 99. It's
99.
a 4-year process. It's an introduction here. There's a 2-year test period in the garden. It'll be here 95, it'll be here again next year for judging. We judge them once in the spring, once in the fall for 2 consecutive years. And then they'll be, after that second fall, they go to the AARS headquarters and the panel looks at all the scores from across the country, which takes in 24 different gardens across the country. And they'll make the selections. It usually varies anywhere from 1 to, I think we've had as many as 5 winners in a particular year.
Wow.
But then and then from there, that first year, that will be the 3rd year of this test's existence, they will release it to what they call the demonstration gardens, which we have a demonstration garden and a test garden. So we'll have it planted out in 98 and shown as a 99 winner. You following me here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. 98, it'll be in the garden so people could come and see, and it will have a name at that time. And so that following winter, it would be in catalogs, mail orders, and so that 99, it would be available on the market.
And then they can buy it. Well, this is
Yeah.
really important work that you're doing here. And I want to mention again, this is just one of 24 all across the United States. And so this is an excellent test for this part of the country. If it makes it through the rigors of a hot Oklahoma summer and through our wacky winter weather.
Yeah.
And, I want to thank you and Rodney for spending time with us this morning. And
Sure.
keep in mind that if you're ever in the Tulsa area, drop by Woodward Park and take a look at some gorgeous roses.
Thank you.